Welcome, Patriots. It's going to be a fabulous episode of Ravens Radar. We're going to be seeing stars today, figuratively and literally. Can't wait to get there, so let's get right to it. If it's in your sights, it's on my radar. We'll be airborne shortly. Welcome, Patriots. Well, I'm telling you, we're going to get right to it today. There's times that we want to mess around. Well, there's times that I don't want to mess around, but we want to get right to the meat of what's going on. So today we have an in-studio guest, and it's going to be fabulous. We're going to Texas focus it for a minute, and we're going to talk about a plan. Everybody wants to know in these trying times, do we have a plan? Yes! And some of us have better plans than others. So today I am with the one and only Robert West, who is the author of the 5-Star Plan. Woo! And it says replacing politicians with patriots. That's a mouthful right there, but you're joining us in studio. Welcome.
Thank you. The 5-Star Plan about 2.5 years ago when the lockdown started, I was trading dollars for hours like most people. And I heard that in Texas, we had shut down our churches, we'd seized private businesses, we'd closed our courts, we'd closed our public beaches, we had outlawed public gatherings, everything you'd expect from a socialist. But we're in Texas. We have a Republican governor. This is not right. This is not going to happen. And if I'm the only person in Texas fighting it, I'm going to fight it. And I said, what can I do? And I said, well, I could write a book. So I sat down and have an electronics background working on planes and your family's Air Force. So you know about that. There's a thing called root cause analysis. If I change a light bulb 57 times, it's not the light bulb. What's causing this?
Come on.
How did we get to here? And I thought about it and I said, and I came up with the basis of all of this is these career politicians.
So how many light bulbs has Joe Biden had changed?
Oh my good. Talk about a dim one. That got burned out a long time ago. But so it's not the light bulbs. And we changed brands here in Texas a few years ago. When I was a kid, you couldn't find a Republican unless you went to a fair and paid $5 and looked in a jar. So we changed light bulb brands. That didn't fix it. We're still not. If you brought the Texas legislature and the GOP up on charges of being charged for the last 20 years in Texas, there's not enough evidence to convict because the Democrats keep picking our speaker.
Woo, I mean, you're talking about that right now. But before we go into these milquetoast, soft Republicans, which I will always say are more dangerous than, because the Democrats are a known quantity. We know what to expect with that. It's the ones who go, yes, who worship with us and pray with us and claim to espouse our values, who are out there then siding with the Democrats, who are even more dangerous. But put this in context. You brought up the lockdowns, unprecedented overreach, government overreach in taking our freedoms and taking our liberties and saying, you have to stay in your house, you have to wear a diaper on your face, you can't worship, but the liquor stores stay open, and
strip clubs,
the strip clubs, the liquor stores stay open. Okay,
you get your dog groomed, but you can't get a haircut.
Correct. Okay, and you can worship the God of Jack Daniels, but you can't worship and strengthen your faith in these trying times. Okay, we're from the government, and we're here to help. So we go through the lockdowns, but now you're also seeing. So we've now come out of the lockdowns.
Well, here's the thing: our governor, who won re-election and won the primary, because people don't seem to know that they have these rights. Don't seem to realize he violated them. He just renewed the Emergency Powers Act again. We've had 3 years where we have not had a Republican form of government in Texas. You would think all Republicans would support a Republican form of government. They don't. They don't mind a king as long as he has an R by his name.
So that's interesting.
So we still do not have separation of powers in Texas.
So let's talk about what that is. So you're saying right here in 2023 in Texas that Governor Abbott has renewed his Emergency
Powers Act.
Why would a governor want to do that? Robert?
To maintain the power that he's not entitled to. And that is the textbook definition of tyrant. If you exceed the authority that the people gave you, you are a tyrant. That is the definition. He has exceeded that authority. Article 2 of the Texas Constitution is only a paragraph. And it says the executive will execute these duties. The legislature will write laws, no one else. And the judiciary will rule on these laws. And none of these people can do the other people's job. So Greg Abbott not only executed the law, he wrote the lockdown mandates, the decrees, the royal proclamations. And in one case, in Shelley Luther's case, he actually called a judge up and said, well, the law actually means this. That's not his job to tell the person what the law means. It's written in black and white. If you wrote it badly, you can't just go, well, I really meant to write it like this. See, everybody says Greg Abbott did not shut down the churches. Well, of course he did. His proclamation, his royal decree, not well thought out, said you have to shut down everything that's non-essential, like gas stations and grocery stores. Well, a church is not like a gas station. It's not like a grocery store. It's a church. You don't have the authority to shut that down. God did not give you the authority to shut that down.
Come on. And see, that's important. I also want to mention on that, as at the time that we're filming this, Shelley Luther has been really ailing.
Yep.
She has had a brain aneurysm and is really struggling. So
she's gone through a series of surgeries. She's awake. She's recognizing faces. Thank God.
But she's got a
long road
recovery. Shelley, we love you and we're pulling for you. But this is what's important for people to know. They don't understand that in Texas, because Texas was a country before we were a state.
Yes.
And we have been leading the way in pioneering freedom. That's why it's so important that Texas gets this right.
Yes.
So now that we're in this, okay, so just understanding the fundamental scape right now, but people will say, but we have chaos at the border,
yes.
Robert. So, if he needs that power to be able to declare an invasion to keep us safe, you would say.
He has that power. He's had that power since the day he became governor. He's refused to use it. He's just refused. And the people that do not understand this, when Joe Biden loads up illegal aliens and flies them to where they want to go in our country after they've broken our immigration law, he is no better or worse than when Greg Abbott loads up a busload of illegals and sends them to where they want to go in our country after they've broken our laws. If you stand up and cheer for one politician who's transporting illegal aliens and you boo the other one, what's the difference?
I'm trying to think. The difference would be what, about $6 billion, $20 million, according to Denver. That's the difference.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, they're doing exactly the same thing with an R or a D next to their name, but they're doing exactly the same thing.
So we have to secure the border. And
Yes.
all of these, even though this is primarily considered a Texas issue with the southern border, it now makes it everybody's issue, does it not?
Everybody is a border state right now.
Because they're all coming in and they're not staying here. We've got a bunch that are staying
Yes.
here, but we have a lot that are just dispersing through. And that's their only requirement. Where do you want to go? Here's a ticket. And, they will literally step over veterans to
We are housing illegal aliens on military bases while our homeless veterans sleep on the sidewalk outside the fence. That's not right.
Come on, Patriots. This is what people need to hear.
Yes.
So we're not going to give you the mainstream media view. This is real facts. We can't fix what we don't acknowledge. So we have to know what's going on here. So now that we've got that, so we've come through here, we know kind of what's happening in the government. But I'm telling you, if we look at what's going on in our country right now, okay, we've got some real problems going on. So I want to address, we've got, we're in a war we didn't know about in Ukraine. Okay. We had a leaker come out. So now we found out that Joe Biden, among his many, unadmirable qualities, has boots on the ground and has us fighting a war in Ukraine while we've been funneling enough money to them that most people are asking whether we should be claiming them on our taxes.
Yes. I should at least get a Father's Day card. I mean, if I support a bunch of people that have never done anything, just
and
out
he's
of the goodness
talking
of my
about
heart.
For $46 billion, that's who's your daddy level of
Send me a Father's
sponsorship.
Day card at least for the amount of taxes I've paid. I've been paying taxes since I was 14 years old. when I showed up at conservative groups, when I first got really, involved and said, this is enough. I'm the owner operator and my employees, my public servants have not been doing a good job. It's time to restock the shelves. It's time to check the till. It's time to look at the books, right? These people who've been involved for decades are like, where have you been? I've been here for 40 years. Lady, if I've been involved in 40 years and this was the mess we had, I'd lie about how long I've been involved.
Preach!
Yes.
That's it.
I've been involved since I had a full-time job at 14 and paid a grown person's taxes, even though I couldn't vote for another 4 years.
Well, isn't that the whole left's argument, is that Joe Biden, 52 years in office, Pelosi, God knows, sober, we have no idea.
I want to use the guest camera for a second.
Feinstein, 60 years, and these people all say that Trump in 4 years is what's wrong with this country.
Yeah.
And
I want to use the guest camera for just a second, folks. Okay. Let me explain something. The most conservative state senator we have is Bob Hall, without question. He wrote the intro for my book. He never served in office before he was elected state senator. Our most conservative president that most of you watching this have had in your lifetime is Donald Trump. He never served as dog catcher in public office before he got elected president of the United States. So obviously having a background is a detriment. Now you brought up Joe Biden. Joe Biden's been involved for, like you said, 52 years. I was 5 years old when the man was sworn into public office for the first time. Look at my face. That's too long. None of us would last in a barrel of apples for 52 years. We'd rot. That's a swamp.
And scathing, we're going to have to get to that, the scathing hypocrisy. We're going to have more with Robert West. We're going to go right back to the front lines right after this.
We are here to defend democracy for the people.
Hey there, Patriots. It's Raven, the conservative warrior. I am here on behalf of Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, and they now offer competitive business plans. Switching to Patriot Mobile from your current carrier has never been easier. When you become a Patriot Mobile member, your dollars are helping to fund our God-given rights and freedoms. You know us, Patriots. We vote with our wallet. Stop funding the people who are selling us out. Support Patriot Mobile now. Be part of the solution. Be part of the freedom. Go to patriotmobile.com/Raven. Get free activation. Patriots, mobilize. Welcome back, Patriots. We're coming with this no-nonsense verbs in the sentences powerhouse, Robert West, and we are just going to tackle, this is how we take our country back.
Yes.
Is it not? This is how, first, you can't fix what you don't acknowledge.
Right.
And then we have to have an actual plan. And what we're seeing right now in the world is what happens when you either don't have a plan or you have a really bad one.
Yes.
And I don't think I think, Joe Biden's plan is to wake him up. Wake him up. Okay. The country's falling apart. Wake him up. And but what we have now, so we know now we're in a war in Ukraine. We've got a leaker. We know the military. We aren't winning, by all accounts, the war in the Ukraine. And we've spent more in the Ukraine than the entire Russian defense budget. Also, now we have found out that Hunter Biden's laptop, they said, was misinformation. Mm-hmm. It's sickening information, but it's definitely what we said it was. Yeah. And now, as the time of taping this, they have taken they've given a violent shove into communism by indicting and arraigning President Trump. They tried to perp walk President Trump by a guy who literally campaigned on communism. Alvin Bragg campaigned saying that he was going to get Trump. He didn't say for what. So he literally outlined to the public that he was going to go after and violate somebody's civil rights and try to find a motive in there. I mean, that should disgust every single person. But this is what President Trump has been saying, that our elections are a joke, that they have been selecting candidates and cheating for longer than we remember. They've been cheating even when he was running, and we didn't know it.
Anyone can look up their, go on their phone. The sum total of human knowledge is there if you want to look. Most people don't want to look. Both sides have been cheating, and both sides have known about it, so they don't call each other out. It wasn't the Democrats in 2021 in Texas who lowered the penalty from felony to a misdemeanor for voter fraud.
Come on, Robert, say that again.
It was not the Democrats that lowered the penalty for voter fraud in Texas from a felony to a misdemeanor. Those were Republicans. And
those were so-called Republicans.
They have ours by their name. When you say Democrats in Austin, I often have to ask myself, is she talking about the Democrats with the R's or the Democrats with the D's?
Come on now. That's why I always say I'm a conservative first, Patriot.
You have a lot of people in your audience. Okay, let me hold this up. This is something I stole from Steve Stern. This is my private cell phone number. Now, my box will be full, but you can send me a message, and I respond to every single phone call if you want to be involved.
I don't think I even have this, Patriots. We're going to need to get a screenshot of this. You didn't give this to me.
I didn't give this. But this is my number. I will pick it up. I will return your call. If it's full, if busy, leave a message, and I will get back to you. Okay? This is how important it is to me. I put my life on hold. My wife's put her life on hold for 2.5 years. We have to solve this, and it's going to be the people, the owner-operators that solve it. It's not going to be the elected officials.
But that's what we have to do, is we're not even acknowledging we have a problem. That's a point that we made, isn't it? Is that it's not the Democrats. It's the fact that we have to understand what's happening in our own party. Okay, and for the record, people, I just answer this question is, why aren't you an independent? Because I stand for the principles of the Republican Party, the way they were founded, the way the founding fathers intended when they said to form a Republican form of government. That's what I stand for. So I have to be the change I want to see. That's why I am still I am a Republican.
And I talk to people who want a third party, right? And I'm like, what a waste of time. A third of the precinct chairs in Texas are not filled. They're empty. If you want a third party, you can join the Republican Party and make it any party you want. You don't have to be the A-team building a vehicle in the garage from spare parts. There's one in the driveway running with the keys in the ignition. Yeah.
Because the A-team is boss.
Yes. So there's one called the Republican Party. The keys are in the ignition. It's idling. And a third of the seats are empty. Well, let's just step forward and fill them.
Let's get to that. Okay. So that's, because I talk a lot about, people say, well, what can we do? I have to say what I'm going to do.
That's what started the book.
We can't have lazy patriots. We don't need sunshine. Thomas Paine made a comment about sunshine patriots. And there's a difference between being patriotic and being a patriot. Okay. Patriot is an action statement.
Yes.
So what that means is, precinct chairs. Well, what does that mean? That means that they're killing us at the local levels of government. So people are all focused on President Trump's race and the government, but we have work to do right here in the state. A third of the precinct chairs can't be filled.
They're empty.
That's government power, guys. That's what happens. So when people say, well, I don't know what I can, that's what you can do.
Yes.
Give me a sign.
You can fill those seats, or you can find someone to fill those seats. And then the other two, the two that are empty out of 3 in Texas, you need to learn who these people are and if they need to be in there. A lot of the main goal of a precinct chair is to block walk and to talk to voters and get them engaged and get closer to 100% turnout for our side, people that agree with us. But a lot of these people don't do that. They can't block walk. Half of them can't walk. Some of them are in hospice. They can't do the function. You're not going to throw a war and put 80-year-old, 90-year-olds in charge. You're not going to put people my age in charge of carrying the guns and taking the property. I got the spirit for it, but my body is not what my body was.
Oh, I'm telling you, I was raised by warriors. And I'm telling you, I would take my dad and 10 people who know how to shoot down here that are patriots than over half of what we see right now.
But we need to get younger people involved.
Yes.
And our party actually, not too long ago at a convention it was proposed to not let anybody in the party unless they were 21, and because we can't hold a meeting in a bar if we have people showing up who are 19. If you turn these people away at 18, 19, and 20, they'll go join a different party.
Well,
and then
not
you've got to
only
get them
that,
back.
This is their country we're fighting for. This is my children's country that I'm fighting for.
Yes.
This is their dog in the fight. You got to have skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your country. If we can't get this figured out, and I have to apologize to the veterans. You know, my dad used to go, your generation is soft. And I'm like, oh, Dad, come on. I'm going to be changing your diapers well before we get to that. You were right.
Return the
But
favor.
I'm telling, well, you know, not this one. I was raised by warrior. This one has her head on straight. But I'm telling you, we need those younger ones, but we need also the experience from the older ones.
Yes, the experience is
stop
important.
Sleeping on our age and our experience, because a lot of these people are veterans, and those guys know how to win a war, and they deserve our respect.
And they do, and they deserve to be listened to. They have a role, they have a place, but it's not knocking on doors, and it's not putting in 14 hours a day.
I would put one of them in a chair in our schools right now.
I've got a guy in Smith County, and he's on the back of my new book, Bob Brewer, and he is a warrior, and he is older, and he's got a scooter. He's got neopathy. I'm going to mess that word up.
Here it goes.
Neopathy. But he's got a scooter, and he goes door to door on that scooter until he can't do it anymore.
Come on.
And then he goes back to what he's doing. And he's recruited a lot of precinct chairs. He's pushed us forward. He goes to the city council meetings. He goes to the county commissioner meetings. And he raises a stink, and he tells people about the first law in the United States, where no law should be suffered to contradict the law of God.
Come on.
It's not a valid law. And that's something people don't understand. All the authority comes from God.
Yes.
Whether it's me running my household or you running your life, you have self-control, you have family control, you have church. Maybe I'm a deacon in a church somewhere, and I have God has given me some authority.
And that's the distinction I guess we need to make. We don't get our rights from the Constitution. No. We get our rights from God.
If you do not believe in God, you cannot believe in our form of government. You can't believe in God-given rights unless you believe in the giver.
Well, that's a whole nother argument with Democrats on what they worship and what they believe. But what I'm telling you is the good news is we've got a plan, okay? Mm-hmm. Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes.
Correct? So now, these trying times, this is when it's time to separate the wheat from the chaff. This is a time for people to report to this line. Nobody won a war from the back seat. Okay. This is front line, and everybody has a role. And we're going to talk about what we have a plan. Robert has a plan. I know I have a plan, and they're aligned. And that's what we need to get to. We're going to put verbs in the sentences, and we're going to give every patriot an action plan right after this.
We are here to defend democracy for the people.
Hey there, Patriots. It's Raven, the conservative warrior. I am here on behalf of Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, and they now offer competitive business plans. Switching to Patriot Mobile from your current carrier has never been easier. When you become a Patriot Mobile member, your dollars are helping to fund our God-given rights and freedoms. You know us, Patriots. We vote with our wallet. Stop funding the people who are selling us out. Support Patriot Mobile now. Be part of the solution. Be part of the freedom. Go to patriotmobile.com/Raven. Get free activation. Patriots, mobilize. We are back, Patriots, and it is that time, the time that I really love. When the going gets tough, the tough down here, it depends. They go for a non-Bud Light and they go for their gun and they get busy. Patriots are ready to get to the front line, and we have Robert West with us. And we're going to talk about now, you have a plan.
Yes.
You have a 5-star plan that I'm familiar with, and it's fabulous. That's what we hear, right? Is what can we do? So take us now. We have all this going. Now we know what the scape is in the government. We are in communism. Okay. This is communism light. So this is our chance to push back against it. So 2 things is, what is the plan? And can we win this war?
We're already winning this war. We've already gotten rid of bad legislators, career politicians in Texas using the 5-star plan.
And we have more to go.
And we have a lot more to go.
A start. So take us through the 5-star plan. What is it? How do we do it? Break it down for our Patriots.
Right quick. If you're watching this and you want to be involved and you ask the question, what can I do? Well, what can I do? What can I do? I get that question from elected officials. I get that question from voters. And my wife used to always hit me in the arm and go, you need to write a book, tell them what they can do, because I kept repeating it. What you can do is you can go to the website, the5starplan, all spelled out.com, and you can sign up for the newsletter. Okay, that's step 1. You can get the book. That's step 2. You can find 5 people who are not involved in politics now, who don't know what to do, who want a better life for their children and for their grandchildren. You can get them involved. If you can get 5 people to the polls that weren't at the polls last time for the primary election, you have done more than most people will ever do politically. That's how we solve it, one cell at a time. Once you do that, you can find if your precinct chair is filled or not. That is the basis of our Republican form of government, the Republican Party. And these are the people that can hold the elected accountable, these precinct chairs. That's why the elected don't want these positions filled. That's why a lot of people in the state party don't want these positions filled. They like having one hat. I'm the county chair. Oh, and I have this hat. I'm the SRAC, or I'm the vice chair, or I'm this, or I'm that. I'm also a precinct chair. I would rather go to a Trump rally with 10,000 patriots than show up with one clown with 10,000 hats on their head. That's not getting things done. So forget that. When I set this thing up, I set it up for a reason. It's not for me to get famous. It's not for me to get rich. You'll never find a donate button on my website anywhere. I'm not looking to run for office. Office is like jury duty. I've avoided both of them my entire life. But I'm willing to do it if I'm called. And that's the way. You should never let anybody on a jury that seriously, desperately wants to be on that jury. And if you seriously, desperately want to be in politics, you should not be allowed anywhere near the levers of power. Those are for citizens. We need to get back to citizen legislatures. We need to end career as a political career.
Correct. It was a civic duty. It was designed as a civic duty, not an end place for corruption. And that's what we've got now is these people have been in so long, we can't get them out.
They care more for their career than they care about you or me or the nation or their families.
And they spend more time trying to keep their job than they do doing their job. So what you're talking about, this is, so Patriots, this is a kind of, we don't have a place for lazy patriots and lazy Christians. So what it can do is, you're talking about, if we can fill these local levels of government, if we can do these precinct chairs and these SRECs, these other ones, this is how we change the balance. You all see what happens on election day when we see all of these things being taken and stolen in real time. The work for 2024 is happening right now. So right now we need to fill in. And for people, everybody can do something. And it's glorious to have a role. You know, God made us for this time. You, every patriot watching this, was made for this time. So take pride in our country. She's worth fighting for. You know, and just get involved. So that's what we want to see. And these are outlined in the 5-star plan. So I want every patriot, you guys know how I am. I'm a big reader. So I am really big on reading. I still have, even my calendar is a paper calendar. I can't do the technology thing. It makes me crazy. But I'm telling you, patriots, get this book. Read how. There's nothing more helpless than seeing this happen and feeling like people are willing to know what to do and they don't know what. So we're telling you, if you can't be on the front lines, support those of us who are. Read how you can make a difference. The 5-star plan, Robert West, how can people find you, find this book, and get involved?
Okay, so we're available on Amazon and all that. You can order straight from the website if you don't like that company. It is the5starplan.com, all spelled out. I've got a podcast. I've got the book. I've got training online. I've tried to keep everything cheaper than a pizza. I just want the message out. I'm not looking to run for office. Everybody thinks that, oh, you're trying to get famous. No, you design something based on a premise, right? Something that you want it to do. A jet engine could be fuel efficient if it was designed that way, but it's designed to be fast, so it sucks fuel. I did not design this thing to grow. I didn't design it to be an organization. I didn't design it to make money. I didn't design it to make me famous or to get me in office. I designed it to fix the problem, and that is the only sole goal of it, and that's why it's been successful. I did not know how successful it was. But when I said we needed to fill these positions, first, our state offices did not protect our rights, which is the only role of government. I called several state reps, and I said, why don't you hold him accountable and stop this emergency powers? And to a person, they lied to me, Republicans and Democrats. They said, there's nothing we can do. Our hands are tied. Only the governor can call a special session. I said, that's not right. Under 665.04 of government code, you can call your own special session to consider impeachment. Why haven't you done that? And overwhelmingly, I got, you know about that? Oh, let me tell you why we didn't do that, Mr. West. I'm like, no, you lied to me and said you couldn't do it. So now you're going to lie to me again and tell me why you didn't.
Wow.
I'm no longer interested in influencing you. I'm interested in replacing you.
So, I would say when that happens, not often in our house, the kids, you don't only identify as grounded, you are grounded. But I'm telling you, so that's great. Do you want to put your phone number up again?
Sure.
And Patriots, so if you're wanting to connect with Steve, if you really are serious, I'm sorry, you got me going now.
I know.
If you want to connect with Robert, and want to get involved and be part of the change, that's the number. We will have information on our website as well. But I'm telling you, I get excited when I actually have a plan. I tell my kids this all the time. Don't come to me with just the problem. Come to me with the problem and a proposed solution.
Now, I have a new book out. It just came out. It's called the 5-Star Plan 2024, but it's different. The first one is the plan. I gave this plan out. A lot of people went out and they got the plan and they said, but the problems are so complex. How can we solve them? Well, there is no complex problem. Nothing's complex. You can fix anything.
Yeah, communism.
But all these problems, they're like hyenas. There's just a bunch of them. We could solve any of them, but every time you turn around, there's two more biting you on the rump, right? We need to boil it down. So I listed a bunch of the problems we have. And some of the possible solutions: illegal aliens. Okay, everybody needs a social security number or else the employer will go to jail. There can't be 15.
But they're not using E-Verify.
Right. There can't be 15,000 Juan Valdez's scattered across 50 states.
Only
with the
when
same,
it's time to vote.
Only one, right? So the Social Security Administration could find these people. You could charge them with mail fraud, tax evasion, tax fraud. All these are felonies, right? And you can line all these charges up and you could turn and go, look, you either go to prison for the rest of your life or you have 90 days to pack up your stuff and go back to wherever you came from. Okay?
But we didn't hire 87,000 Social Security agents.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
We hired 87,000. So yes, that is, so Patriots, be encouraged. That is what we are trying to do here. Verbs in the sentence, and we're grateful. Thank you, Robert West, for being with us today and taking us through the 5-Star Plan. I highly recommend every Patriot run out and run, don't walk, and get this book. And I'm telling you, we can do this. Thank you again for being here. And Patriots, we'll be back right after this.
We are here to defend democracy for the people.
Hey there, Patriots. It's Raven, the conservative warrior. I am here on behalf of Patriot Mobile. They are America's only Christian conservative wireless provider, and they now offer competitive business plans. Switching to Patriot Mobile from your current carrier has never been easier. When you become a Patriot Mobile member, your dollars are helping to fund our God-given rights and freedoms. You know us, Patriots, we vote with our wallet. Stop funding the people who are selling us out. Support Patriot Mobile now. Be part of the solution. Be part of the freedom. Go to patriotmobile.com/Raven and get free activation. Patriots, mobilize. Thank you, Patriots, for being here for another Ravens Radar episode. I really feel honored and blessed to be bringing you these frontline fighters. We're covering all aspects, everything that we need to get this country back on track. So please, please support Robert West. Go out and buy his book. Find out what you can do to help us, because this is a marathon, not a sprint. So we need to get our country back on track. And it's going to take, fixing what's really broken instead of the smoke and mirrors we're dealing with. And on that vein, want to remind Patriots that I've got my book available on pre-sale. It is Raven's Mantle, Fighting the Betrayal of America. It is available for pre-sale on Amazon and barnesandnoble.com. And this is raw. I started my life, behind two military officers, and I'm married to a retired C-17 pilot. I'm telling you, I started in the Cold War. I grew up in the Cold War, and I was raised by warriors. I'm going to tell you what being in the Pentagon on 9/11 looks like, what the Vegas massacre looks like, and what these all have to do with the state that our country is in right now. And I'm going to end it with the next steps in our journey and how we fix this. Are you like me, tired of hearing what's wrong? I want to know what to do about it. I'm going to put verbs in the sentences. So this is a must-read book. Patriots are going to give it to you raw and unfiltered. And we can do this. We were made for this time. For this time, God saw fit to put you and I and all patriots to fight for what's most important, and we can do it. So until then, Patriots, keep fighting.